This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply. This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
Jewelry can say many things on your wedding day. As a wedding band, it can say, "This is a forever symbol of our forever love." As a gift to your wedding party, it can say, "Thanks for standing up there with us." Blue Nile can help you find the piece that says it all and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com.
So many years ago, I was approached by an ex-player. I had a player, Robbie Slater. Lovely guy. He played at Blackburn. He played at West Ham. He's an Australian player. And we spoke about different players. And I had a player fall into my hands that I went to watch, and he was sensational. And at the time, Newcastle were the club. Kevin Keegan was the manager. They had people like Asprey playing there. Les Ferdinand, this was a real team. And I thought this player would be magnificent there. So I told Kevin, now I don't know who Kevin sent to watch the player. In my opinion, and it's only my opinion, this player was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I only watched him for 45 minutes. He was brilliant. Kevin sent someone to watch him. Now, at that time, let's say the first division, let's call it the Championship, because what it was the Premier League, then the first division. But let's, for the sake of words, let's call it the Championship. At that time, Wolves were bottom of the Championship. And I remember Kevin sent someone to watch him, and Kevin called me. He said, "Silky, we've been to watch the player. And in our opinion," and it's not his opinion, it's just whoever went to watch him. "In our opinion, the player is not good enough to play for Wolves." So I said, "Kev, who did you send? Stevie Wonder?" I'll never forget this. He said, "Well, it's an opinion." I said, "Well, I have to tell you, you are so far out, it's scary." So what I did, I called a friend of mine whose brother-in-law was in charge of a huge club abroad. And I said, they've got to go and watch this player. He was cheap. He was £1.2 million. So you've got to go and watch him. And at that time, 5 million was a big price, 6 million. So at 1.2, even then he was cheap. I said, they've got to go and watch him because he's fantastic. So he spoke to his brother-in-law and he come back, a guy called Maurizio, come back to me. He said to me, "Silky, we know the player. My brother-in-law knows the player because he was working Maurizio for the youth team, scout for the youth team. He said, we know the player. He knows you're a great judge, so we're going to go and watch him again." And they bought the player. And obviously I didn't get paid, yeah? But what they did do, because there was no transfer windows then, for 4 years running after that, they gave my wife and I free holiday in Italy for 1 month. Any hotels we wanted to go, they picked up the bill for 4 years. The player's name was Zinedine Zidane. And whoever Kevin went to send to watch him said he couldn't play for Wolves.
Oh, did seriously Wolves turn down Zinedine Zidane?
No, not Wolves, Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle turned him down.
Newcastle, yeah, Kevin Keegan at Newcastle, yeah. Because Kevin, obviously it wasn't Kevin because Kevin didn't see him, but Kevin sent somebody to watch him, and they just said he couldn't play.
He couldn't play for
he's
Wolves.
Not good enough to play for Wolves, who were bottom of the championship.
Yes.
And the guy I spoke to was Maurizio Peveralin. His brother-in-law was Roberto Bettiga. And at the time, Roberto Bettiga was running Juventus.
What a player he was as well, Bettiga.
Yeah, and they ended up selling him for, I think it was about 46 million they sold him for.
I'm sure you've seen that picture.
Yeah.
How did you feel, John, when you were walking away from the team that you supported as a kid? Your dream was to play for Manchester United. Did you feel that part of that dream was being taken away, or did you feel as though you were walking into a bright new tomorrow with Don Revie and this team that he was assembling at Leeds United?
Well, what happens when you're a kid? You have dreams, right? You dream about things, but then you have to. Then it becomes reality.
Yes.
You know, in my situation at Old Trafford, it was no longer a dream.
Yeah.
You know, this is my future, and Matt Busby had lost confidence in me.
Yeah.
And you know, what was said at Old Trafford, nobody leaves Old Trafford and does well. In fact, when I asked for the transfer, I mean, Matt didn't hesitate. He said, "Yeah, that's okay." And Wilf McGuinness said at one stage, a few days later, "Go up and see the boss, and he might change his mind."
Yeah.
Because that was the mood at Old Trafford. Nobody does Old Trafford. Nobody leaves Old Trafford and does well, and nobody really wants to leave. Well, I did. I was having a bad time at Old Trafford. So in my head, I was only 22 at the time. In my head, it was, well, this is a great club for Dennis Law and Bobby Charlton, and that's great. That's great for them. It's not great for me. So I thought, well, I want to go because I couldn't see any future there for me. I couldn't keep going at the way I was going. The confidence would have been totally gone. So I thought, well, if I go on the transfer list and somebody comes in for me, it means that they rate you. You're starting from scratch there.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Don. Don came in, and Don was sort of taking me away from Old Trafford. I didn't read it. I thought it was just a photograph at the time, you know.
Absolutely. And to a brand new start at Leeds United, you got Billy there that you formed. I would say arguably the greatest double act, a better double act than Lauren Lardy and Morecambe and White and any of the double acts that we know.
That was off the pitch. Now the big reason I was influenced to go to Leeds, who were in the second division then, was Bobby Collins.
Yeah.
Bobby Collins was 10 years older than me, but I played against Bobby Collins when he was at Everton. I saw him playing for Celtic, and he was one of my heroes, one of the great players. And I thought, well, if Bobby Collins is gone to Leeds, they must be doing something.
Yeah.
They must be doing something. And I know from Christmas to the end of the season, they made a really good run at getting promotion. They finished fourth, I think, at that particular time. So when you're making a move, Paul, as you know, you're in the lap of the gods. Nobody knows how a move is going to work out. You know, you're taking a chance on it. It's always a chance. And I was very lucky. I had me two angels on my shoulders, and that it worked out as well as it did at Leeds. Nobody could foresee that. I couldn't foresee it, but you just had to take it at the time. I was only on the transfer list for 2 days, but I really did want to get away from Old Trafford.
SRBMedia.
You didn't just blow kisses whilst on the football pitch. You sat down and gave kisses as well, didn't you?
First of all, I thought you were talking about sitting on the ball. Yeah, well,
we're going to come to that in a bit because I'm still at the beginning of Sheffield and moving on and going back. But that kiss with Allan Birchnell, because you pretty much replaced Birch, didn't you, at Sheffield United? He moved on.
Yeah, that's dead right. He 60, late 67, yeah. He went to Chelsea, and I came early 68. So yeah, I more or less replaced him, and Mick Jones went near, before that 68 Christmas, 67 Christmas, New Year, and them two went, and I came, and you could say I replaced him, yeah, but the kiss happened, I think it was 74-5, something like that, and I think we were defending, and we ended up doing it was like, it really was synchronized. It was, we both tumbled over, head over heels it was, and we both sat there, and he just turned around and said, "Give us a kiss," because we knew each other from playing against each other, and he's a lovely bloke anyway, and so I did. We kissed on the lips, and there was one photographer there, probably made a fortune out of it.
It is sad that the photographer makes a fortune out of it, and you and Birch made absolutely zip, which it should be really the other way around. But you did court controversy because it wasn't just the kiss. They were going balmy, weren't they, the public?
Yeah, well, apparently it was. I mean, it was in the papers the next day, and apparently it was the first ever kiss on the lips in the world ever, and through two footballers, and it got in magazines abroad and stuff like that. But Birchie, he made a few bob out of it for charity, because he used to send me pictures of it, and I'd sign them, and I'd send them back to him, and he'd be raising money for his charities, and he must have made thousands and thousands. He got a bloody MBE or something for all that, and I was bloody signing these things and sending them back to him. But we redid it a couple, if that's the word. It's not, but we did it at Leicester a couple of times, because he used to run around the pitch for charity at the end of the season, and I'd go there, and we actually set it up that we kissed again, and we got, he made a few £100 out of that, and we've done it again in Sheffield and stuff, and he's all for his bloody charities, not mine.
But again, Birch was one of the characters of the game, wasn't he? And another player that when he went on the pitch, he wanted to entertain. We had characters. I think these days we haven't got so many characters, and that's why we love and always love to indulge in those great halcyon days of the 70s with you guys. So you signed on at Sheffield there as a young'un, as a forward, and it wasn't until a couple of seasons later that you had a chat with John and says, "Look, John, I fancy playing midfield rather than up front." And then I guess the blue touch paper of Tony Currie was truly lit.
And you can catch the full-length version of this podcast at www.patreon.com/SRBmedia.
If you're a facilities manager at a warehouse and your HVAC system goes down, it can turn up the heat, literally. But don't sweat it, Grainger has you covered. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products for all your operations, including warehouse HVAC maintenance. And even better, they offer access to experts and fast delivery, so you and your warehouse can both keep your cool. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.